So Walter was a huge reader. He loved stories of fairy tales, myths, folklore. He loved stories of adventure and intrigue. This is the block print depicting a scene from Cupid and Psyche. And Cupid and Psyche is a tale from Greek mythology, and it is about the son of Venus, Cupid. So here we have him here, and his bride Psyche. Instead of the cherubic youth that we usually see with white puffy wings, Walter has changed Cupid into this almost coastal raptor. So think of a hawk or an osprey. And he's put in these powerful wings. He's made his face into almost this beak-like point here. And so Walter has really transformed this image that is classical in art history into this Gulf Coast image. We are in front of Don Quixote, Walter's image from 1937, and this is an oil on panel. Walter painted this after the death of his father in 1937. And actually, Walter's wife described the face of Don Quixote as the death mask of her father-in-law. And behind him, very tiny, is Sancho Panza. And Sancho, in the story of Don Quixote, is kind of like his squire. And Walter loved Don Quixote. He actually compared himself to Don Quixote on many different occasions. Kind of this idea of the chivalrous knight who was living in an age of not much chivalry. He also sometimes thought of himself a little poorly and called himself the fool. And of course, we think of Don Quixote as kind of this silly character in the Western canon of literature. Walter was really thinking about how he was perceived by the people. John Anderson, Walter Anderson's youngest son, actually references Walter as Don Quixote on a bicycle. So this is actually a puppet that Walter created probably in the 1940s, and Walter often created puppet shows for his children. So it actually has movable arms and legs. You'll notice Walter has actually put in a lot of the same features that we saw in the previous image, the oil painting. So see the sharp points, the elongated forms, and you have, of course, your spear. These are archetypal stories that resonate throughout time and countries, and Walter has really translated them into life here on the Gulf Coast.